Hello Capricorn, and welcome to your new moon lunar cycle insight video. For the cycle beginning with the new moon solar eclipse in Leo on the 11th of August, and this new moon will bring culmination to the Lionsgate energies, to eclipse season, and marks a huge turning point in the wheel of the year. This is what I am calling the great unwinding, as many planets begin to turn direct during this lunar cycle, and we can begin to reap some of the rewards for the hard work we've been doing. The energies become a lot more earthy, a lot more grounded as we shift from fire to earth, and this can be a time of deep integration, of soothing, calming, coming back into our bodies after such an intense period. So for you, Capricorn, we start this month with the energies really moving through your 8th house. The 8th house is the Scorpio house. It's the space of death and rebirth in the birth chart. It rules over all of those scorpionic themes of transformation, crisis, alchemy, intimacy, sexuality. It's the part of the birth chart where we face our shadows, we face our fears, and we transform and transmute them into gold. So the eclipse is going to be here, and Mercury is retrograde here, so you may be feeling some of these themes coming up in your life, Capricorn. There may be a lot of psychological stuff that you're working through at this moment, a lot of shadow material, a lot of things, a lot of events perhaps being triggered that are calling you to go deep within and to do this deep soul diving, this deep soul clearing process. The way I always feel about this house is it's almost like a storm cloud, you know, a storm coming along and churning up all of the dead wood, all of the driftwood that's been lying at the bottom of the sea, bringing it all up to the surface to be seen. And that's how the 8th house works. It shows us our stuff. It shows us our blockages, and it asks us to alchemize them, to purify them in the flames of transformation. And if we are brave enough to do this inner work, then we will rise like a phoenix from the ashes. We will emerge from these transits reborn. So with the Leo energies here, we can particularly be thinking about themes to do with intimacy, sexuality, sensuality. So perhaps, Capricorn, with all of the hard work you've been doing, all of the intensity, you've forgotten about that side of yourself. You've forgotten about that side of yourself that likes to bond with others, that wants to soul merge, that wants these deep, intimate connections. Perhaps there is some sexual healing, you know, that you need to do, some trauma that's happened that's blocked your flow of expression of Shakti, of Kundalini energy. And this can all be highlighted. And these, of course, are very sensitive, very taboo subjects that Scorpio deals with. So it's really good if you can have somebody to talk to connect with, somebody who is a soul tribe member that can hold you as you move through these spaces, because the eclipse is going to activate these, and we'll be working with these energies definitely for the next couple of weeks. And sometimes the effects of eclipses can reverberate right up to the next eclipse season. But luckily this isn't such a strong eclipse as the lunar eclipse that we experienced last month. So the effects won't be as catalytic, but you'll still definitely feel these areas coming into focus for you. So fear is your friend at this time, Capricorn. You know, fear is revealing to you what needs to be healed. And as these eclipse energies die down, as Mercury stations direct on the 19th and begins to pick up speed over the coming weeks, you'll be able to see the results of the inner work you've been doing, reclaiming those lost parts of yourself as well. You know, often the 8th house is those things, oh, they're too dark, they're not accepted, we need to hide them, we need to take them underground, and particularly in the spiritual community, oh, you know, we don't want to be negative, we don't want to go there, we don't want to attract more bad stuff by talking about this. So it's like suppress and deny, bypass, ignore. But with these transits here, you are calling those parts of yourself back into you. We are all shadow and light, you know. We are like the cycles of the seasons. There is light and darkness, light and shadow in every single person, in every single thing upon this earth. And to reject half of ourselves is to disconnect from who we truly are and disconnect from our own desires. There can be a lot to be said about desire in the 8th house as well. And with Mars retrograde, you know, we've all been reworking our relationship to desire as well. So as Mercury moves forward, you'll begin to see the results of the work you've been putting into doing this clearing, doing this internal work. And, you know, you will emerge from this transit as a much more whole, integrated and balanced person. And perhaps, you know, having reconnected with your sensual self as well, reconnected with your witchy Lilithy self, which is what we do through this house of the birth chart. So just after the new moon, Mars will be moving back into your sign. He's still retrograde, and he's coming back into Capricorn, where he was with Saturn, with Pluto in May this year. He's coming back to the degrees he transited between the 11th and 16th. So there may be issues that we're revisiting that cropped up around that time. Issues around Martian themes, power, passion, motivation, desire, things that you were trying to build, Capricorn, things that you were trying to set into motion can now maybe come back into awareness to be completed. If there's been arguments, if there's been disharmony, you know, Mars is the warrior, he is a disruptive force. So if there was things set into motion, you know, fiery confrontations with other people around that time, this is the time that it can be resolved. If there was issues with authority, with Capricornian type patriarchal energies, the shadow of Capricorn, this can now start to be resolved as well. So he's going to be in Capricorn for about 3 weeks before moving back into Aquarius. He's going to station direct on the 27th of August, and he will come back into Aquarius and he will revisit the degrees that he retrograded on in your 2nd house as well next. That will be mostly next month. And he spent most of his retrograde period in your 2nd house, and he was teaching you some valuable lessons around finances, around resources, around valuing and honouring yourself and your time and energy, around self-love, around receiving adequate compensation for the time and energy that you have been expending. And as he begins to station direct and pick up speed and move back, you again, you know, we start to see the rewards. We start to see the benefits. All of the energy and all of the effort that we've been putting in over the summer is not going to go to waste. You know, the cosmos was giving us these lessons for a reason, and we will move forward as a different person with different belief systems that will attract different levels of prosperity now. As the transit continues to unfold, Mars won't actually leave his retrograde shadow until October time. So there's a big journey there, but really, you know, it's a reawakening of vitality, a reawakening of drive, of determination to meet your goals, to meet your visions, which is what you do best, Capricorn, the cosmic architect, the builder. Without you, nothing would come into form, nothing would come into manifestation. There would be no legacy to leave behind. without your gifts. So the sun moves into your fellow earth sign on the 23rd of August. So this is a beautiful grounding energy because the sun is going to come into a trine with Capricorn, with Saturn in Capricorn, and with Uranus in Taurus. So this will be your 9th, 1st and 5th houses. Houses of creative inspiration, fire houses. And so we have this beautiful blending of fire and earth. All of these visions, all of this creativity can now be grounded into something tangible that can yield results for you. Capricorn, if you have planets around the first few degrees of Capricorn, if you're an early born Capricorn around the winter solstice, then this is beautiful because your sun will be affected by these beautiful trine energies. So it's an extra potent portal of manifestation for you around this time. But of course you'll also be having a conjunction from Saturn, so at least this will bring a bit of ease and flow to that. Yeah, early born Capricorn, Saturn is retrograding back to about 3 degrees at this time, so you might be feeling the weight of the cosmic taskmaster on your back even more than usual. I know as Capricorn types are very used to hard work and responsibility, but a Saturn conjunction can take it to a new level. So just be aware of that if you're an early born Capricorn. But even if you're not, there can be there's extra intensity in your sign, Capricorn. You are working extra hard to deal with your karmic stuff, to deal with your life lessons at this time. You've had Lilith there, Mars has been lingering around, Pluto is there. You know, you're the point in the zodiac where there's a lot of intensity, a lot of hard work going on at this time, which you are of course used to, but still it can be like a double whammy that's happening at the moment as Saturn transits through there. So be gentle with yourself. I think I say this to you every month, Capricorn. Be gentle, allow yourself breaks, respite, nurture and love yourself. Don't forget to connect with others emotionally, and amongst all of this work that you're doing, don't forget that you are a person with needs as well, and that although visions and goals are important, it's really important to remember the beauty of just being alive on this planet at this time and setting aside those responsibilities and duties momentarily from time to time. So beautiful energy, spiritual insight, spiritual intuition, inspiration, creativity. Oh gosh, my cat seems to want to join in with all of the videos today. And a grounding, stabilizing energy to lead us into September. But before we get there, we will be having a Pisces full moon, and this again will be highlighting your 9th house where the sun is, but it will naturally fall in your 3rd house, your house of the throat chakra, your house of communication. So this can be a time when it can be really healing to express your inner thoughts, to express what's been going on for you with other souls. And also it can be a great time for you to share your wisdom, Capricorn. You are the keeper of the wisdom of the ancestors. You know, you are the ancient sign, the old sign of the zodiac, who's been here since the beginning of time and seen and knows all. So you have a lot to share, and this moon can really ask you to share it with others in healing ways, but also don't forget to speak your own truth and express your own self in healing ways as well, for healing as well. On a more mundane level, this can be bringing culmination to writing or speaking projects that you've had. It can be highlighting the networks that you're involved in. if you've got any toxic connections going on, as particularly with friends or online, this can be a time when you're having to draw boundaries, when you're having to let go of these connections that are draining your time and energy. So just be aware of that around the time of the full moon. But in truth, this is a much more gentle, healing moon than the ones that we've had recently. So it's going to be a beautiful energy, an energy of gentle letting go, of clearing up the loose ends from the eclipse season. So yay, the day after that, Mars stations direct in your sign. So this is the energy that I talked about earlier, things moving forward, things coming into manifestation, things coming into being, problems with authority, red tape, issues of not having the drive and motivation you need can now start to ease up, and you will begin to move forward. You know, he's going to go back into that second house. You're going to start to see some financial recompense as well over the coming weeks, Capricorn. And then Mars and Saturn, your ruling planet, stations direct. Hooray. So this is harvest time for you. Harvest time as your ruling planet stations direct and begins to pick up speed and move forward. You know, like I was saying, you work hard, Capricorn. You work hard to bring things into being, and you're hard on yourself. So for you, building something tangible, building a legacy in the physical world is so important. And this is what Saturn is helping you do as he transits your sign. So where you've been putting the time and effort and energy into that, and maybe feeling frustrated, like, oh, nothing's moving forward. I've been working hard, you know, I've been working day and night. I've been neglecting joy. I've been neglecting my family and other responsibilities in order to create this, and it hasn't happened. Now it will start to happen, you know. Now, as he moves direct, things can start to fall into place for you. The pressure, that intensity, that feeling of not having enough time can start to really ease up, and things will begin to take on a little bit more ease, a little bit more gentleness. We finished the month for you with a new moon in your fellow earth sign, in Virgo, in that 9th house, that house of spirituality, the house of authentic truth. So this is a time to set into motion things that feel true to you, things that feel authentic to you. What truth do you want to commit to for the next 12 months, Capricorn? What spiritual pathway are you devoting yourself to at this time? Perhaps you need to balance out all of this hard work with spiritual connection. Perhaps there's an element of needing to discipline yourself spiritually, setting in a meditation practice, or some kind of exercise or health regime that supports your mental and emotional and physical well-being at this time. Perhaps you want to get out in nature a bit more, you know, you want to feel the healing that comes from the green earth at this time. If you're a spiritual teacher, if you're a spiritual leader, this can be a great time to set new projects into motion, new workshops, new offerings online. You know, this is where we can start to see things starting to manifest, starting to show up in the physical reality. All of the inner work, all of the healing is now going to seem like it was worth it. You know, we'll be glad that we went through those difficult times, because what's coming now is going to be so beautiful. I'm going to pull a card for you to finish off this reading. I'm going to pull 2 cards actually, Capricorn, because everyone's had 2, because they just kept flying out during this month's readings. So this is the Mythic Oracle deck by Carissa Melado. I've said that name 12 times and I still can't remember it. And Michelle Lee Phelan is the artist, and these are Greek oracle cards with Greek gods and goddesses on. So they're perfect for astrological readings. They're a deck that I've had for years that I've rediscovered and decided to use today. So let's pick a couple of cards for you. and just as I am speaking to you on this video, I'm having messages pop up on my phone. I'm recording on my phone, and things that I've been I'm a Capricorn moon, and things that I've been setting into motion are now beginning to unfold as I'm speaking to you. So I'll take that as a sign that that's going to happen for you other Capricorn types as well. So what does the universe want to tell you, Capricorn? Interesting. So we have Zeus, the father, the king of the gods. And this is very interesting because you are often associated with God, with the father god, in modern astrology. Although we know that you are the star mother, Capricorn. You know, your sign is very much associated with the winter solstice, with the ancient wisdom of the crone and the Caliac. But you are, like I said, by more modern astrologers, associated with the patriarchal energies of the father. So Zeus is here. And this can really feel like, oh God, that energy that I was talking about, that pressure, that responsibility, that needing to protect, that needing to provide, that you so easily take on the responsibilities of other people, Capricorn. And now it's time for you to claim your sovereignty, to claim your kingship or your queenship, and say, no more, I'm going to draw my boundary. I'm not going to take on responsibility for other people. I'm going to channel my energy into myself, into my own dreams and visions, you know, or I'm just going to lay down responsibility. I'm not going to be responsible for other people's problems anymore. I'm not going to be financially or emotionally carrying the burdens of people anymore. And, you know, often by doing that, we enable people to carry on depending on us and not claiming their own power. So maybe this month you're going to have to cut some ties and say to people that they're going to have to start to claim their own power back and take responsibility for their own lives. And again, any issues with authority that are coming up this month, they might be extra prominent at this time, but don't worry, because as the planets move direct, you'll be able to deal with them in effective ways. You'll be able to stabilize your life as these planets begin to move forward. And the other one that we've got for you is Hecate, who is, you know, one of her forms is the crone, is the Caliac. She is the keeper of ancient wisdom, the goddess of the underworld. So before the Greeks claimed Pluto, Hades, or the Romans claimed Pluto and the Greeks claimed Hades as god of the underworld, there was Hecate. And this is interesting because you are doing the walk through the underworld at the beginning of this month with the Leo energies in your 8th house. So she is your guide. She will show you how to navigate the pathways of the underworld, lead you back to the center of your soul to reclaim your true self, to reclaim all of those things that you have lost or buried, Capricorn. And there can also be an element of you having to make a choice this month. Are you going to go down the same road? Are you going to keep taking responsibility for people that need to take responsibility for themselves? Are you going to fall into old patterns of overwork, of self-deprecation, of self-flagellation, of doing things the patriarchal way? Or are you going to come into the feminine? Are you going to surrender? Are you going to trust the new pathways, the new ways of creating abundance that are opening up for you at this time? It's up to you to make that decision, but you can call on Hecate to guide you, to show you the way forward, to make the best decisions that serve your soul. And know that we can never really make a wrong choice. If you're trying to decide something at the moment, Capricorn, you can't make a wrong decision. You can only choose different experiences. Each choice we make will lead us to a different experience. So there's no right or wrong. Every pathway will have gifts. Every pathway will have challenges. So you can go one way and taste blueberries, you go the other way and taste strawberries, and each will serve your soul and give you a different experience. So don't get caught up in trying to make the right decision. Make the decision that will lead you to your highest pathway of evolution, that will help you create that legacy that you long to leave behind. So I hope that that helps you and serves you, Capricorn, and you can connect with me further if you would like to through the links underneath this video. You can reach out to me for readings. I would love to connect with you. And I am wishing you abundant blessings for this cycle. If you would like to leave a comment about how this video resonates with you, please do. I always love to read them. And I am sending you so much love, Capricorn. Thank you for listening to me.